Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is GullYY here. Welcome back to another Polytopia 1v1 replay review. This one is against DayCloud. He's a junior player for the Squids team on PolyChampions. We're doing a Tiny Continents barter mirror match, so let's get into it. DayCloud is the basic barter, and I am the green barter. And we see that he does move first, so he does get a little bit of an advantage. For this replay, we're going to do something different. I'm going to keep the fog off, just so, we can see what everyone's doing and talk about it all. So, these opening turns are just going to be standard barter stuff. You know how it is. You level up the capital, you take a workshop, go for that second warrior, start getting villages. Okay, so I go for an explorer in my second city here, and that's for a couple reasons. Basically, on Tiny Continents, I know that if I get an explorer, especially in a central city like this, I'm basically guaranteed to meet him, and at this point his score is 1,100. So when I meet him, I'm going to get 5 stars. That means I'll be able to level up this city here, take resources, and then I can even chop and level up my second city again if I want to. We'll see that this explorer, though, actually isn't the best. If we go ahead and pop over to my vision for a second, it doesn't reveal the tile for his second city, which is pretty brutal for us. It means we have no idea what he's going to be training there. I consider that more of a problem for the later game because I never know if there's going to be like a knight just sitting on his city, or he might have a catapult ready to pop my giant or something like that. I would have no idea. So it could have moved better, but it did its job, which was meeting the opponent. DayCloud goes for archery. I decided to do the same because archery on Tiny Continents is pretty good. You get the defense bonus on forests, and you also get some, pretty nice combat interactions. You can go Rider Roads on Tiny Continents, but I think it sort of just comes down to personal preference, honestly. Also, earlier, it just makes more sense to go archery because riders, they can be effective without roads. Roads really helps them, maneuver and whatnot. Okay, so I do actually have a bit of a problem here. So yeah, he has all these archers lined up. He's basically just shooting whatever I train in the center city. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a good idea to keep training units there. I think it at least occupies those archers and prevents them from moving forward and hitting my own archers or something like that. But it does mean I'm gonna have a difficult time trying to get the unit advantage on him. And if he hits a tipping point where he's just killing whatever unit I create, then I'll just slowly die. So I finally revealed this this east village over here. I didn't really know. I mean, I could have assumed I had it just based on this fruit, but I wasn't entirely sure, and I didn't want to send a warrior all the way over there to check. Now I go ahead and I get math, and that lets me get my first giant up. Turn 10 giant, which, I mean, is kind of understandable given all the stars we're each spending on, training archers and stuff. He's going to get his giant up, and using his gate of power, because he's gotten a bunch of free kills on my units down here, he'll get his second giant up. So this is where I start to get a little worried. Even though, my position is good. It's 4 cities to 3. But defending this city is going to be somewhat difficult. I'm probably going to have to use this giant down here to send it up towards this way, and then get a few catapults going. Now, if we go ahead and turn the tables here, look at DayCloud's perspective, it's also not a great spot, because it's, like I said, 4 cities to 3 cities, which means he's going to have to make some aggressive plays to try and get one of these cities down here. If he doesn't, I'm just going to be making more stars per turn than him. And the longer the game goes on, the more star advantage I'll get. So he really needs to be making aggressive plays to try and take one of these cities. Probably this one, just based on its proximity to these giants. And he has the archers ready too. Okay, I had to relaunch the game. I think we were around here. I was just getting my second giant up. Okay, so now DayCloud has a real problem. I have both of these cities pretty much fortified with my giants. He's going to have to start getting catapults, and that will force me to move them back, so fair enough. I go for a siege on this city. It's not going to hold, but it at least prevents one of his archers from, I don't know, hitting my archers or something like that. So I have both my giants set up to defend this city pretty well. And I have the catapult too, so if he moves this giant down, he's just, screwed, basically. He does have this catapult here, which is giving me a lot of trouble, because he's going to be able to shoot my giants while I'm trying to use them to protect this city. So, kudos to him. Not a whole lot I can do about it. I bring one of my giants away, which is a little risky, but at this point I have enough catapults built up that if he does go for this city, it's just going to get a bunch of rocks dropped on its head. And he does exactly that. I know I said he has to play aggressively, but in my opinion, this was a bit of a misplay. I think he probably could have just kept his giant there and maybe have gone for chivalry or something. I'm not entirely sure. The thing is, going for a siege like that, What's his vision at this point? I assume he took a explorer in this city, I think. So yeah, he has full vision. I mean, you're basically just throwing away your giant. And of course, I do have to use mine to unsiege, so mine's gonna die too. In fact, I maybe could have just hit with the giant first and used the catapults to kill. Anywho, it's sacrificing a giant to not do a whole lot of work. He goes in with the other giant. But again, the catapults. Catapults are great counters to giants. And I go ahead and get riding because I noticed that most of his army composition at this point is just entirely catapult based. And I know that if I just get rider roads, I'm going to be able to poke a bunch of holes in his setup here. He's got this one giant for zone of control, but that's not going to be enough. Now, I misplay heavily here. I don't know why I moved my catapults forward, but I did. So they're basically just going to get shredded by all his catapults now. Some of them are going to become veterans, so I basically hit them for nothing. So yeah, it's not great. I should have just waited until next turn to like move them forward or something. Also, DayCloud does have a knight now, which means I need to start being real careful about how I set up my units here. If I give him any nice chains to my backline here, it's not game over, but it's not great for me. Okay, so now his setup's looking really shaky. He's got this one giant left, but it's going to die next turn. And yeah, I get a star ruin, so now I go for chivalry as well. So it's a precarious setup for him. I leave him a nice chain here. I probably should have just not trained a warrior in this city. But yeah, now I basically just chain the rest of his units. I get a siege on the capital, and that's basically all there is to it. So yeah, I do go ahead and win the game. Okay, let's go ahead and see what there is to learn from this replay. I want to jump forward here to like turn 5 or 6. With archery, you know, you get the nice defense bonus on forests and stuff. So I want to try and keep my warriors on forests so that they get that defense bonus. But I mean, it almost ends up becoming a hindrance to me rather than a benefit. I'll sort of explain why. So like, I put this 6 HP warrior here. You know, it's on a forest, it's got a defense bonus, it's happy. The thing is, he is just going to shoot it with an archer and then kill it with his warrior. And all of a sudden, he's got a big fat warrior with 10 HP and the defense bonus from archery. So honestly, that warrior could have probably just gone on this forest right here, or even like south. Because I put my 6 HP warrior here, it basically meant that he was going to get his warrior here as well, because he can just kill it. And I think I end up doing that a couple of times, so that's something you can watch out for if you go analyze the replay on your own. Which I will link in the description if you want to check it out. Also, like, I pushed these archers into his archers up here. I wonder if it would have been better just to keep them back and wait for him to move his forward. Although I'm not sure if he ever would have, just because he can keep them here and just keep firing on this city. One more thing I want to touch on. I think this game was a pretty good example of, like, you know, the best offense is a good defense and stuff like that. You gotta know when to push into your opponent. Because if you push and they just have catapults lined up, it's not going to work, and we pretty much saw that here. And because I was able to like fend off his, you know, double giant here, it basically set me up to launch a pretty devastating counterattack that basically won me the game just through rider roads and smacking his catapults and stuff like that. The thing about catapults is that, yes, they're strong units, but they're super slow. I mean, you know, one movement, they can't attack after moving. And I mean, it's good that way. So yeah, we see DayCloud's push just gets melted, basically. And then what does he have left? I mean, what's his eco at this point? Like, turn 15. He's got 18 stars with 16 stars per turn. I mean, he could have tried for chivalry. It would have been difficult. I mean, I'm just in a better position here with this 4-city setup versus 3. But that's probably what I would have went for. Just keep the giants out of range of the catapults. Basically prevent me from making any progress while you get knights. The thing is, though, I would have just gotten knights too. At that point, it just comes down to who can, you know, position their units better. And again, I'm just making more stars. So it was a very difficult position to win from for DayCloud. And the same, you know, with regards to knowing when to push against your opponent, the same can be said for me. I move these catapults forward, and they don't do anything. They just die. It was a stupid move. I should have waited like a turn. So yeah, I think the big takeaway from this game is knowing when to attack your opponent, knowing when you need to push, when you need to start getting aggressive with your giants, stuff like that. And yeah, I'll just let the rest of this play out. I know we've already seen it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. Hope you all learned something. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, be sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe for more epic Polytopia videos. If you want to support me and the channel directly, you can become a channel member by hitting the join button down below. And I'll see you all in the next video. Have a spectacular day.